Welcome back to Snark and Spark. I'm Emily, and this is my FlossTube channel. So, wow, gosh, wowie. First and foremost, um, I'm not wearing my glasses. um, I have contacts in because I accidentally broke my glasses on New Year's Eve. Surprisingly, funny enough, I was not drunk. I was messing with my son. We were rolling around wrestling, and they were already kind of cracked, and he accidentally hit me in the face. Glasses fell off, but we are just kind of fixing them with Gorilla Glue at the moment until I can get into my eye doctors. I do have contacts. I have daily contacts since I prefer to wear glasses, but I do have a 90-day supply of dailies that I've been fortunate enough to have, and I can wear them. So it's just a little weird to have contacts in. I haven't worn contacts in a long time, so having them in, it's weird. It's a weird feeling for me. Anyways, how was everyone's holiday? How are we doing? I don't really want to talk about my holidays. I want to focus on. This is going to be a homework video. This is going to be. Did y'all hear that? That's Eisenhower. He's trying to get in. Hang on. And we're back. He's a little anxious, my poor dude. Kennedy is at the vet currently. She is getting spayed today, and while her procedure was done and over with by like 10 a.m., we can't pick her up for almost another 2 hours. So obviously he has gone all day without her, and he's a little on edge. He keeps trying to find her, and he's like pacing in circles, the poor guy. But she'll be home soon, and I'm excited. She's coming home soon. So yes. So I don't want this to be terribly long because I am going to have to leave to go get her. But also I want to break up January into a couple videos instead of trying to do one huge long ones. I'm sure they're not as fun to watch when they're super long, but also it just takes a really long time with uploading and editing when they're super long. So I'm hoping if I can cut it down, I can actually get these edited, and uploaded faster for you guys. That's the goal. Big brain. Anyway, so in this video, I just want to talk about School of Magical Stitches in literature, and then I will do like a part 2 where I will talk about semi-sane stitchers and the events going on in each of these groups. So, also I want to take one last minute to talk about Christmas, only because I got this. From my son. It is this heart pendant. It says Mom. It's got these crystals, and this little dude, actually, if you hold it up to the light and you look through it, it displays I love you in a bunch of different languages. And I was not expecting a gift from my son, obviously, but he wanted to buy things for us this year, and he had some help with a really close friend who bought them, helped him buy them, and I cried. It was a very beautiful gift. I was not expecting it. So, but I wanted to share that. Anyways, so on to School of Magical Stitches. So, January, we're starting off in new territory, which I am all about. So, normally, we come in, we get sorted or whatever, and we're put into different teams or groups. Harry Potter year, I came in late, but I was sorted into Hufflepuff. Then last year I was part of the Disney Magic Kingdom, Disney World, whatever you want to call it, and I was in the Wilderness Lodge. And this year it is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I loved this series. I'd never finished it. I think I read like the first 5 of like the original, or like the first 4 of the original 5, and haven't gotten any past since then. And I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to go back and reread it and read all of it in its entirety. So I'm actually really, really excited this year. I also just love Greek mythology. I loved studying it in school. Anytime we had like a unit on it, or anytime we talked about folklore or fairy tales or whatever, I always was the one that wanted to talk about mythology and wanted to do research on mythology. I also love to name my cars and my vehicles after mythological beings, because that's what I do. I had a white Jeep for a while that we named Hermes. I have a new vehicle now and I don't know what to name it, so I have to think of something. Not right now. But anyways, so with that, there's been a bunch of questions, there's been a bunch of things happening, and I want to just talk about it from my point of view, from my perspective, and how I'm tackling some of these projects, especially with the yearly challenges and with the homework prompts this month, since it looks like January is completely brand new for all of us. Now, I'm excited, so let's dive in. First and foremost, I want to start big and work my way down. So I want to talk about the Outrageous Mistress Headmistress Challenge, Stitching Challenge, the Outrageous Reading Challenge, the year-long events, the one that is being released in quarters, every quarter. Then I'm going to talk about how January is going to go. There's not a monthly for January right now, but there are weekly. So with the Outrageous Headmistress Challenge, the goal this year is to stitch the books. They have taken the page count of the books and then multiplied it by 100. The first book, I believe, is 375 pages, which translates to 37,500 stitches. I don't have any of my papers. That's okay. You can keep track of this however you need, however you want. I believe Corin, Corrin. I want to say Corin, but I also do know someone in real life named Corinne, and it's spelled the exact same way, they just have an E on the end. So, I don't know. She, though, has been a lovely darling, and she's in multiple of the groups that I am in and has created these beautiful, simple trackers. So I definitely suggest that if you are in School of Magical Stitches, you go to the files section, take a look at that, and download them, print them out, whatever. I've printed them out. For the Outrageous one, she has blocked everything off in 500 stitch increments. So what I've then done, since I only worked on 2 different projects this past week, and I really just focused on getting the Letters from Hogwarts Stitch Your Own Adventure started, since I'm working on the one that's going to be a gift for my baby niece. I really focused a lot of it on that. I put in 600 stitches on that in about 2 days. I was really busy otherwise, but I did also pull out Praise Him with Strings, and I only put 100 stitches on that, and I will explain that when I talk about the semi-sane events that I'm in. Suffice it to say, Letters from Hogwarts, I've had 600 stitches in. So I've got one full block of 500 designated to it, and then I've got another. I then took a block and I separated it into sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so then I could go, okay, every 100, I would color in the block a little bit further. That's just how my brain works. I needed to be able to divide it even further. I like to be able to see. I like coloring it in. I have colored pencils. It's great. Each of my whips I've given them a color as I've pulled them out. So this one is a pretty baby pink since it's for my baby niece. Praise Him with Strings is like a goldenrod yellow because that's the color of the guitar. That way, they're just things that I don't necessarily have to write it across every single page because I've already made that connection in my head. But, so like Praise Him with Strings, one little sliver of a box is colored in because I put 100 stitches on it. Every single thing you stitch, every stitch you stitch, counts towards the Outrageous Headmistress Challenge. Every single stitch. Now, for the other year-long challenge, the one that's being separated by quarters, level 1, which is where we are right now, from January to March, but you have all year to do it, this is just this segment that it's being released in, is to build the cabins. We are living at Camp Half-Blood as part of the Percy Jackson competition area team. We are going to be living in, they separate the Half-Blood and the demigods into cabins based off who their magical parent is. So there's 20 of them. I'm not going to list every single god and goddess, but there's different ones. And for right now, we need to focus on rebuilding the cabins. They're in disrepair, we need to build them. The tracker I have also has been designated into blocks, but this has been designated, has been split into 100 stitch blocks. Again, my brain really likes that. And each cabin needs a total of 2,000 stitches to repair them. I'm not too worried about it. Now this one, anything you put into this particular event counts towards Outrageous Headmistress. What you cannot do is stitch on your WIP for homework and also try and count those in the build of your cabins. You're not allowed to do that. But you can stitch for homework and use these stitches in Outrageous Headmistress. Basically, everything you do all year can be double dipped with Outrageous Headmistress. But special challenges you can only use for the special challenge and the outrageous challenge. So don't try and do homework and this one and that. No, just don't. I also plan on either uploading every 500 stitches or every 1,000 in the outrageous challenge. It just kind of depends. I didn't do because I've got 600 in this one. I didn't upload a picture at 500. This one I'm going to wait till I get to 1,000 just because I'm only 400 away from it, and I will upload a picture of 1,000. It just kind of depends on my mood, how it strikes my fancy. So there's that. Now, the year-long reading challenge. I love this. I've said it in my last video, so I don't want to spend forever talking about it, but I love it so much. I love that it's categories. She's given us 30-something categories, and we get to pick. You only have to pick 10 categories that you want. And then you just have to read 10 books within those 10 categories. So it's only 100 books total, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot. I didn't get to 100 books this past year. I read 62. But my goal really is to get to that 100, especially because the minimum page count is 100. It only has to be 100 pages to count as a novel. And then you just fill them in. And it can be really, really easy. Some of these categories are really easy. One entire one is audiobooks. All you have to do is listen to 10 audiobooks. My goal alone for the month of January is 6 audiobooks. I would be halfway through that category. And that's pretty much what my plan is. You're allowed to use the book series we're reading all year long. There is a category called series. You could go ahead and list all 10 of you could plan on using all 10 of the Percy Jackson series for series. Then there's very broad. There's YA, which is young adult. There's mystery. There's thriller. There's crime thriller. So you can pick so many different things. There's a category that's just female authors. There's a category that's just male authors. There's a whole category for library books, books you get from the library. I work at a library. So yeah, don't put too much thought in it, but please don't hesitate to ask questions. Please reach out to me. If you find me in these groups, go for it. Tag me, add me within the group, and ask questions. I definitely am very active. I love to answer questions. I would really love to potentially one day be a mod for some of these challenge groups. I would. I especially would for Percy Jackson. I would love to help be a moderator, or not an admin, but just a mod. Yeah, a cabin leader. Team leader. Maybe we'll just make our own little mini team. Depending on where I get sorted, if I get sorted as a demigod or a god or even as a titan, maybe I can convince someone to let me, and then within that I'll be I want to be team Demeter. Can I be the team captain? Anyways, so then this past week for homework was just for the weekend. It was basically a pop-up from January 1st to yesterday, which was January 3rd at midnight. It was just welcome. What's up? welcome to camp. Welcome. We are starting off a brand new year. There wasn't a stitch count. There wasn't any prompts. It was just pick on something and stitch. And a lot of people got really confused, and a lot of people were really like freaking out of what do you mean? And it was just pick something and stitch on it. And you could pick multiple somethings. You didn't have to just sit and only work on one thing. I chose to do that because I really want to. This is my focus piece. I'm going to show you what I have. This is 600 stitches in my Letters from Hogwarts. Well, I've already made a change to it. This first swirl color is supposed to be red for Gryffindor, but I am going to actually make my sister's wand, and the color for her wand is also a really pale yellow. And it's supposed to sit on the yellow for Hufflepuff, and I'm afraid that it would blend into the Hufflepuff, and I didn't want that, or that the shades of yellow would just look bad against each other. So I decided to just switch where Gryffindor and Hufflepuff are. That's it. That's all I've done. But that's where I've at so far. So I put 600 stitches on that. That is my focus piece. So I didn't switch whips. I just did this. When I did put 100 stitches in to Praise Him with Strings because of another group I'm in, I didn't want to add that to the homework. I knew I was going to use the Letters from Hogwarts for my homework. So and since I only had to do 100 stitches, I actually went ahead and put those 100 stitches in my Build the Cabin. So I have already put 100 stitches towards rebuilding Zeus's cabin. I hope this makes sense. I hope I'm not really talking too fast or not making, I hope I'm not making sense. What the world? What am I trying to talk about? I'm sorry. I'm tired. It's been a busy day, and it's just now 3 o'clock my time on a Monday. I woke up early. My whole family woke up early. My son went back to school. I went back to work. I've been at home. We've all been at home. Don't get me wrong. We have all been at home. And there's a difference between like quarantining and being at home, and then quarantining, and then also it's the holidays, and then also we got snowed in and iced in, and we couldn't open our garage for like a week. And I park in the garage, so I couldn't leave even if I wanted to. So then like being able to actually open the garage and take my son to school and get to go to work even just for a couple hours was brilliant. But because I got up early because I was tired, I did stop and get an energy drink from this like local place called Java Joint where I live. And it's zippy, that's for sure. And I think the caffeine is like overloading my brain because I have actually really done like a caffeine reduction the last like week or two. Yeah, I really reduced my caffeine intake, and then today I just kind of blew that out of the water. But that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's okay. Plus, I'm also anxious and nervous. I want my dog. I want to go get Kennedy, and I keep like looking at the clock. But of course, the time's not moving faster. Anyways, deep breath. Okay. So, that was last week's homework. Sorry, now there's something in my eye. Contacts, man. I'm very hyper today. Normally I would apologize, but I actually don't feel sorry for being energetic right now. This is just who I am. So, let's continue. Let's talk about this week's homework. Because I think this week is going to also confuse people. Because we are pretty much used to a stitch cap, let's call it, on homework assignments of about 1,000 stitches. We don't normally have to stitch more than 1,000 stitches unless you're doing penalty each week. This week's homework requires a total of 2,400 stitches. Wow, That's more than double what we're used to doing, right? But the reasoning is there are no penalty stitches this week, and it is not expected for everything to get done. It is not expected that we are going to finish this homework assignment. So please don't stress yourself out to do it. I'm not going to stress myself out trying to do it. Am I going to try and put as many stitches as I can? Absolutely. But I am not going to go out of my way and overtax myself. Because my plan is to use Letters from Hogwarts as much as possible for all of these tasks. So, also the fun thing with it being January, we haven't been given our teams yet. January is kind of a rest period. It's like our warm-up. We're just stitching to see what we can stitch. They're kind of, all the admins and people are just kind of keeping an eye on us, seeing what we can do to help make sure that the decisions they've made, the teams that they've placed us in, will actually benefit us, if we need to be moved somewhere else. So, and I like that too, because there's not this immediate pressure to like perform for your team. You can just be, which is really nice. So, we are doing, this week was called Meet the Gods, which I was super excited about, I'm not gonna lie. So we have a total of 12, I said 4, I don't know why I did 4. We have a total of 12 gods and goddesses that we are being introduced to. And we basically have to stitch based off of their characteristics or their descriptions. I'm going to try and give you guys some ideas. Also, please go watch Vicky and Sammy's homework episode that has been uploaded to YouTube, and then also Lisa from Shady Tree Stitchers on YouTube has also uploaded a homework video. Check them out. Those are the only ones I've seen so far. There might be others, but I do know of them for sure, and I've watched both of those. But I'm going to try and give you more ideas as well. So we have Zeus, the father, god of thunder and the cloud gatherer. He controlled the weather, offered signs and omens, and generally dispensed justice. So with this one, and they said, he's a dude. You could stitch a guy. If you've got a family, you could say one of them is a father, or just he's a male. If you have any sort of weather, clouds, especially clouds or thunder or lightning, things like that. Now, he also offered signs and omens. I would also take this to include, because you could use it this way, for example, Letters from Hogwarts. At one point, we stitch one of our classes, and one of the class options you have is either tea leaf reading, which would be a sign or an omen, the tossing of runes, which would be taken as a sign or an omen, different mythology, but whatever, things like that. So also think if you've got any like Halloweeny patterns or occulty patterns, anything that would be, ooh, spooky, bad omens, I would use it. And then justice, if you, like I know Sammy has what, Lady of the Flag? If you've got Statue of Liberty, anything with justice related, law related, I'd use it. 2, Hera. She represented the ideal woman and was the goddess of marriage and the family. However, she was perhaps most famous for her jealous and vengeful nature. So, again, woman, if you had a marriage sampler, if you have something with people, that's obviously a family, famous for jealousy and vengeful. That one definitely has me stuck, and I'm definitely looking at this going, I'm not sure. What I've come up with, which is kind of a stretch, but kind of not, is, so we get to stitch our Hogwarts houses. They divide us based off of our characteristics and things, and then we are grouped together into a house with people who are then like our family. It's kind of what I was going for with that. I don't know. Yeah, this one is hard, so I don't know if I'm going to do that one. And that's okay. 3, we have Athena, the goddess of wisdom, war, and the crafts. And they pointed out, she is the goddess of crafts. Cross stitch is a craft. You could basically use any cross stitch project because it's a craft. If you have anything that would have some sort of weapon. Maybe it has swords, maybe it has bows and arrows, a spear, a knife, um, anything like that, a weapon. I would assume that would work because battle, or war, wisdom, books, knowledge, schools, letters, samplers, I would bet, because that's knowledge. I'm using Hogwarts because it is a school and you gain wisdom. You go to classes. Sorry, I'm trying not to bounce. 4. Apollo. He was a major Greek god who was associated with the bow, music, and divination, the epitome of youth and beauty, source of life and healing, patron of the civilized arts, and as bright and powerful as the sun itself. You could do a lot of things here. Again, if you have a weapon, if you have a bow, perfect. Music, anything with music, perfect. Music notes, music, singing, song lyrics. Divination would be same thing with like the spooky signs and omens. Anything with maybe tea leaves, runes, tarot cards. Anything that would be like, let me tell you your future, crystal balls, anything like that. That's divination. So think like if you have any like witchy stuff, that would work. La 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 la. Youth and beauty. You have a child. You have a beautiful lady. Anything beautiful or young. Babies. Source of life and healing. If you have any medical pieces or anything with medicine or band-aids. Patron of the civilized arts. That's stuff like music and theater and dance. Bright and powerful as the sun. Sun. Or anything that is like bright yellow golden-y color, I would say. Don't quote me on that. 5. Poseidon, the god of the sea and rivers, creator of storms and floods, and bringer of earthquakes and destruction. Anything with a body of water. That's pretty much all I got for that one. You do a sea, do a river, body of water. Again, if you've got anything with clouds or rain or thunder and lightning, just like with Zeus, use it. Earthquakes and destruction. Usually there's not a lot of cross-stitch patterns when it comes to like destroying things, so not sure about that one. Although if you are doing the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, one of those patterns where it says fragile like a bomb, bombs destroy things, just saying. 6. Ares. Ares was the god of war, and perhaps the most unpopular of the gods because of his quick temper, aggressiveness, and unquenchable thirst for conflict. This one, again, anything with battles, weapons, stuff like that. Quick temper, aggressiveness, and unquenchable thirst for conflict. Sorry, but for me, the first thing that came to mind was sports. Quick temper, conflict, aggressive, people playing sports. And so like for me, one of the things we do is to stitch on like a Quidditch match. I'm using sports because people are aggressive. 7. Artemis was the Greek goddess of hunting, wild nature, and chastity. And again, I'm not saying it for every single one, but they are people. So if you have a male or a female and you just can't tie it in like no matter what, but you have a person, use it. Just do. No one's going to blame you for it. So I was just on Artemis, hunting, wild nature, chastity. So hunting, again, forest, trees, bow and arrow, wild nature. Do you have any scenes of wild areas? Fields. I was going to say a farm, but that's not wild. Fields, woods, forests, oceans, big empty spaces, and then wild animals. I've got an owl. That's a wild animal. I will be stitching the Hufflepuff banner, which has a badger on it. That's a wild animal. Snakes, lions, bears, whatever. And chastity, if you don't know, chastity is like virginity. It is abstaining from sex before marriage, I believe. Or just abstaining from sex in general. I think that's just abstinence. I'm pretty sure chastity is just... I don't know why this is where I'm getting stuck. But anyways, but so you could do things that have to do with sexual orientation. You could theoretically do a bride, since brides are supposed to be chaste before their wedding, or a young girl, because young girls are adorable and beautiful and innocent. Basically, it boils down to she's the goddess of innocence. Um, Demeter, or Demeter, she guaranteed fertility of the earth and protected both farming and vegetation. So farm, crops, plants, vegetables, fruits, anything like that that would be associated with farming. So even think farm animals, horses, rabbits, sheep, cows, pigs. Um, 9. Aphrodite, the ancient Greek goddess of love, beauty, desire, all aspects of sexuality. This would be basically say anything. I would use this: stitch on something you love, stitch on something you find beautiful, stitch on something that has something you desire. If you like to stitch mirabilias and you love the way the dresses, you can say you desire their clothes, you desire the dress. It doesn't have to all be sexual, just because she's the goddess of sexuality. I believe Sammy pointed out that she, though, would be a really good one if you do have any LGBTQ plus patterns. She would be a good one to whip those out on, because she is all aspects, which I love. Dionysus, we're on number 10. Dionysus was the ancient god of wine, merriment, and theater. Awesome. Like, you got any sort of liquid, call it wine. You got merriment, anything with a party scene, balloons, music, people, dancing, theater, anything. This is based off a movie. That's theater. It's not like theater like up on a stage, but it's theater. 11. Hermes. There's my car, my old car. Hermes was the ancient god of trade, wealth, luck, fertility, animal husbandry, sleep, language, thieves, and travel. Like what? Yeah, like just like they said, if you can't find it, then I don't know what to tell you, because he's basically the catch-all god, which is also partially why I named my car that. Because at the time, our son was a toddler when we had that vehicle, and everything got tossed into that car. Everything did. But trade, anything with money or with items, luck, you can do anything that's considered lucky. A heads-up penny, a four-leaf clover. I don't know what else is lucky right now. Fertility, husband and wife. Marriage, a baby sampler. Animal husbandry again with farming. Sleep, who doesn't love sleep? Show me something with a good pillow. Talk about how much you love your bed. Like, whatever. Language, anything with words. Anything with books. Anything with writing. La 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 la. Thieves. That one's kind of tricky. I don't think many of us have anything with like bad people on it. And then travel, anything that travels. I have a train at the top of this whip that I will be using, because you travel by train. 12. Hephaestus, the god of fire and metalwork. He was also the brilliant blacksmith of the Olympian gods, for whom he fashioned magnificent houses, armor, and ingenious devices. He's the last one. So again, metalwork, anything with a piece of metal on it. Old Ironsides, you could say a ship is made of metal. You could say pretty much anything was made of metal. Houses, anything with a house. There's a castle on this. There we go. Any sort of cool device. Why not? So that's that. And I know that's a lot, and it's thrown at you, but remember, the point is not to like overburden yourself or stress yourself out. This month is all about just doing what you can do and just seeing what you can do. I will be focusing primarily on this, and if I can't make it work, I can't make it work, and I'm just going to move on to the next task. I'm not going to sit there and stress myself out over something if I can't make it work, if I can't figure it out. There's no point. I want to have fun, and that's what I'm going to do. Plus, I view it as instead of pulling out another whip, I can finish the homework. And since this is my focus piece, I can then just use this to work on building the cabins into the outrageous challenge. And so then I'm still getting stitches in and I'm still getting things done. I'm going to leave that here for now. Going to edit this down, hopefully try and upload it today or tomorrow. But I wish you all well, and I will be uploading another one where I'm going to go into the semi-sane group. So that's where we are. I have a couple other special videos that I want to do. Maybe I'll do some sneak peeks of those. But yeah. So until then, I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Be on the lookout for those next videos. So until then, though, guys, be easy with your heart.